What's going on, guys? Just got here in North Carolina to start my 30-minute break. We're all loaded up, heading up to Virginia, and I'm going to show you guys that load here in a minute. But today I want to discuss a question that was asked about how we number these trucks. How each position, how we decide what number goes with each position on the truck. That's what I'm trying to say. But first, I'm going to run inside and get myself a coffee to finish my trip. And I'm going to send you guys back to yesterday to where I was loading this thing up. And I'll catch you guys in a few minutes. Thanks. North Carolina. Going to be doing my 30-minute break. But first, I got to get rid of some coffee. And after I'm done with that, I'm going to come make you guys video, show you guys how I load this. And I want to discuss... someone that posted a question a week or so ago, or a couple days ago, about how the spots are numbered on the trailer. So I'm going to get into that, and I will see you guys in a minute. Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm just over here inspecting these cars. Well, this Telluride here that you see. This load's going up to Virginia. We have 5 Tellurides going up. 2 Sorrentos and 2 K5s. Check the VIN and check the paper. So we're gonna take these up there, get these things all loaded up, and then we got a Carvana load heading down to Charlotte. So I'm just grabbing all my stuff so I don't forget nothing. What's going on, guys? We're off to the rail yard here at Kia, which is way back there. So, but if you can tell by the sky here, trying to get this done before the rain sets in. It's doesn't look all that bad, but I just came from the north side of Alabama, running my way down here, and it poured up until probably, I'd say 25, 30 miles before I got here. So it's coming this direction. I'm just hoping to be able to load, get some recording done so you guys can see, and try to get it done before I get wet. So I've already attempted to break my camera now, I think 3 separate times. Still ticking, but fingers crossed it keeps going. So let's keep pushing, try to get these cars on quick, and let's go. Let's get to work. We got 2 more cars to grab. You can tell by paperwork we have 7 of them. I got to go to the end of this row. I go to the end of that row there and grab my last car. Then I have 1 more Telluride to grab, and we're out of here. It's just starting to sprinkle. If you look, it's starting to get dark. Well, not dark like nighttime dark, but that rain is coming. So I'm gonna try to get these on quickly here. So we're almost there, and I'd like to be able to record the whole load for you guys. So fingers crossed, let's go. Alright guys, just finished loading up here. We're just pulling out, getting ready to leave, and There's the load we have on. Time to head on up to Virginia and drop these off and grab our Carvana load. So, see you guys in the morning. Stay busy. Alright guys, I'm going to show you this load again and kind of talk about a couple things that that I did differently from what I normally do and explain the numbering system on these trucks. So here's the load. As you guys saw yesterday, we got two my phone's going off. Hang on one second. As I showed yesterday, we got two Tellurides and a Sorento. We're going to talk about that one in a second. And then Telluride over Telluride, Sorento over K5, which is nothing major, K5 over Telluride. Loaded that way just because I think, if I remember correctly, these three come off at my first stop, and then that one comes off at the second stop, and then these three come off at the these three come off, nope, sorry, I'm wrong again. These four come off at my last, or my third stop, and man, I can't talk today. And that one comes off at my last stop. But this is the load. This is nothing major. If you're loading these things, one of the things, if you're putting a K5 here, and depending on where you park a Sorento down here, leave this in the bottom hole down here. But if you need to come back further to get down to height, depending on what you have here, you can run this car back a little bit further. This is where I normally park, but you can actually take these cars up top here, put the front tire right down here on this deck, drop this little piece down right here, and bring your front bumper right in close to your axle, I guess what you would call the decking over the axle there. And you can get this much further down to height if you need to for height wise, but so far I haven't. I've put 3 Tellurides across the bottom of this and had no issues, so I don't know. I mean, I've seen people do it. I don't know why you would, based on everything I've hauled so far on this. Again, I haven't had this trailer for probably, it's got to be about 2.5, maybe 3 months so far, but that's just one of the little tricks you can do by actually putting the front tire, I'm not looking through the lens, by putting the front tire on the actual deck and dropping it down. You'll gain yourself another probably 5-6 inches over the height of your roof line to bring your top deck down. But right back here, this is something that I did for the first time today, well, on this load, because these new Sorentos have, some of them have this really tall luggage rack on the roof of them, which isn't an issue getting this vehicle down to height per se. Is getting this number 4 deck down behind the back here without hitting the deck on your actual luggage rack. So what I did this time is I dropped it all the way down, figuring I wasn't going to be able to get out my door. But actually, the funny thing was, the door goes over the top of this, the side of the trailer here, with ease. I didn't have any trouble with that at all, which is something that I wasn't expecting. Then the other worry I had was dropping it down like that, because I didn't even do it on my old trailer, is having the room back here for my bumper. I kind of figured it would run into there. So when I was loading it, I know I cut it out of the video, but I stopped and checked like 7 times backing in to make sure I wasn't, especially that light. That light will catch a bumper if you're not paying attention. But just making sure I was going to have enough room back here in order to get down to height. And then obviously, like I've said before, this deck right here, keep it up a little bit. And it's just, so if you look closely, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. If you look closely, Number 2 is actually under number 1 right there, that ram. Now, that's not the way I would number that deck normally, but that's number 2 is underneath that deck. So 2 things. 1, you don't want that deck hitting this one because you'll bend your ratchets. But 2, I'm gonna zoom back out. With this all the way down, if you see right there, the ratchet hook, when you ratchet in and that's dropped all the way down, it'll actually on bumps hit the roof of your cab, and it'll put a hole in the cab. So that's something to pay attention to. I usually keep this, unless I'm running trucks, I usually keep this deck as at number 4 above the little pinhole, which is this. You start counting from here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 or 5 most of the time, and you're fine. This Telluride is at like 13.4 right now, so I mean, I'm at height with ease. Again, this one I'm at height with ease, and one of the things that I've done, if I can't get this deck down so my floppers aren't going to hit it, what I do, as you see right here, I leave this out just a hair and drop this deck below it. But the one thing I will say with doing that is make sure you do your pre-trip in the morning, because this deck by the next morning will settle down about 5 or 6 inches. And if you don't do your pre-trip, or you let this sit all weekend long and you just jump in the truck and you're like, oh yeah, there's no reason for me to do my pre-trip. I did it when I parked on Friday, and now it's Monday morning and blah blah blah, no issues. You are gonna make your very first turn, and your little I don't know what you would call it, this little deck right here, you will take the front of your car out when you make your very first turn. So make sure you do your pre-trip on that, because I've never had that issue, but I've noticed that deck will drop every morning if I load it like that. So you're supposed to do your pre-trip anyways, so make sure you check that so you don't end up screwing yourself and causing damages that don't need to happen. Actually, no damage needs to happen, but you don't need to do a damage because you were just being lazy per se. But all right, on to the numbering of the decks. How do we number the decks? The easiest way to describe it is going to be our decks are numbered based on the order you put cars on them. So on a quick loader like this, I will give you the numbers. On my high rail, the numbers were not the same because you didn't load it the same, and I'll explain that in a second. But your first car on, that's going to be deck 1. Second car on, that's going to be deck 2. Third car on, which is right here, is going to be deck 3, because on a quick loader, this deck does not come up, and you load from the back of the trailer across the top and in underneath. So that's going to be number 3. Then we got number 4, because that's the next one on. 5 and 6. That's across the top of your trailer. Obviously underneath you got 7, 8, and 9. And the only time it would change on this trailer per se is if you're loading 10, then you'd have number 1. That little number 4 deck that I was pointing at earlier, that is going to be number 2, because that's your next one on. Number 3 is going to be up top. Number 4 underneath. Then it'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the way you would load this if you're loading a 10 car load. But for a high rail, because on a high rail you load behind the cab from underneath the trailer, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 come underneath, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, that would change on a high rail. If you go back to any of my videos, I'll show you that. If you're loading a 10 car load, it's going to be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6, 7 right here, which is going to be tilted up. 8, which is going to be your belly car right here. 9, which is going to be your shotgun car right here. And 10, which is going to be the one on the back. unless you wanted to load 10 via your top deck up here, which would then be numbered the same way as doing a 10 car load on this this truck. Or lastly, if you're doing an 11 car load, where it's going to change is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the car tilted, 9 for the car sitting in the belly, 10 for the car coming up over the axles, and 11 for the car on the back. So that's how we number these trailers. So if you ever hear me saying position blah 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 blah, that's what you're going to want to refer back to. That's going to be the position of the car in the order that it's loaded. I guess that's the easiest way I can explain it, is that's the way we number these trailers, or at least I always have, and most people do. If you have a different way, leave it in the comments below, because I'd like to hear it. But normally, your position on your truck is going to be the position in which you loaded the vehicles on. And I will tell you what, if you look at this truck, it is a god-awful mess. I hate having my truck, I mean, look at this fuel tank. This is atrocious. I hate having this stuff looking like this. And I would have gotten it washed earlier. I could have gotten it washed this week on Monday, but they're calling for rain pretty much every day of the week at some point. So I don't want to spend the money, even though it's not my money. I don't want to spend the money on getting this thing washed when a day later it's going to be looking like this anyways as I drive through the rain. So yeah, I guess maybe we'll get it washed next week. Hopefully it's springtime. It's kind of like in the winter. I will get the truck washed in the winter if I'm coming from up north, even if it's calling for crappy weather throughout the week, just to get the salt off it. Because these things rot out in no time if they're left with salt all over the truck. But other than that, in the springtime, I usually wait for at least having 3 or 4 days of good weather where I'm running before I go out and spend the, what is it, I think 75, 85, 95 bucks. I don't know because I don't pay for it anymore. But I don't want to waste that kind of money when a day later it's going to look just like this again, even though it bothers me. I hate when the trucks look like crud, but it is what it is. But anyways, guys, as always, down in the link below, it's going to be the investing app, going to be the app to get paid for your fuel receipts. You upload them on there, you get money back. Whether the company pays for the fuel or whether you pay for it for yourself, doesn't matter. You just upload the receipt, you get money back for that. And the music in the video, that's down below if you want to check them out below. And guys, love you. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.